Welcome back, my great audience. This is the MBA right here at Mbuzi Munch. And after this, we are going to be having some Mbuzi samosa.
Deluxe.
And there's also a Mbuzi deluxe coming.
What banana that
Oh,
is.
oh,
Wow.
oh. Serious bananas right here. I love Mbuzi. Now you know. The MBA is right here. And we are talking about men and business and mental health. Don't touch the dial. Coach,
Thank you.
so you've come from Ungwaro and you've told us about having a big vision. Is it poverty that you are running from, or what kept pushing you to become? What was your drive?
I probably would say that if God allows you to see some things, He intends that He's speaking in a big way. He says, probably you have a capacity to get there. Yes, as I said, I didn't know we were poor because we were provided with what we need. Fees was paid at the right time. It wasn't so much. But one thing that made a difference is that we were collected in a Mercedes, a yellow one. A creamish yellow.
Yeah.
And we went to Langata. And we went to Langata. As in Ungwaro, we were used to hipping ourselves. Uko na sahani yako hapo, umekaa hapo na kajiko, mnakula chakula, mpiga story. We were destined to one dining hall.
Ooh.
And the parents were in another dining place.
When LA was LA.
Oh, yes. And I was wondering, kwani hapa kuna story gani? I realized that things are so different.
Yeah.
And I started wanting, okay, fine, I think I can be able, started wanting to do these things, one or two things. So basically, let me say, Ungwaro is good, but you don't let the mentality of Ungwaro, because Ungwaro people were probably machanga, kandom kidogo, story kinds, but we can get out of every other situation that we are in. It's not where you are, but where you end up and where you go.
Lovely. Coach, I'm hearing you tell me that exposure changed your thinking.
Yes, it did.
So what we are saying is that even with our young children, we need to take them to places where they're going to see something different and better from what we provide.
Yes, tell you what, one of the things that my wife and I have greatly valued is we sacrifice to pay what we can afford for the best education of our children. And when I got to learn, there was a lady who said that they take their children to the best of schools of what they can afford. And they don't go knocking doors and asking for favors. And I've seen that work.
I love that. Please repeat that. You take your children to the best of schools.
Yes,
so
that you can afford.
That you can afford.
Yes.
So that they don't go knocking on several doors to beg for opportunities.
Looking for favors. And this is
or looking for favors, not opportunity. Opportunities are there.
Yes, no, you can look for opportunities. You need to knock doors. I mean, seek, ask, and find. That you have to seek, you have to knock. But that's why we start getting a lot of mental issues, because you probably did not have a lot. You are competing in an area that you're not well equipped to. So you start compromising, you start doing many other things, and mental issues come in. And when the mental issues come in, it's a different story altogether. But what I'm saying is this: exposure, as you asked, exposure is great. Even if it means just going, say for example, even Kangware or wherever, or Kangemi, just go to a mall and buy your kid a soda. Let them see something different. Let them start imagining and reimagining themselves. And lo and behold, before long, they'll start thinking, okay, fine, okay. And they work towards something.
So it is important that fathers take their sons and drive around certain spaces and places with them so that they can change and create a different image from the environment.
Yeah, one of the things that I've realized in terms of mental health and in issues of also in having proper communication with our children is actually being able to do the small things. I'm looking at the the race course. And one of the things I remember, Zakayo, my father, a great guy, I miss him.
Yeah.
He's late now for the last 2 years. He passed away 2 years ago. He used to bring us here and would watch the horses.
Wow.
The other thing is I remember my father, a carpenter, working for a company called Kamanyora. For those people who know Kamanyora, he was a carpenter. He could actually afford to take us to Mombasa.
Wow.
And he knew one guy who was his friend at Nyali. And I can remember what night going with Golden, it was called Golden Coach. I think something like that, one of those Mombasa buses. Oh, it was nice. You know. My father wasn't earning a lot of money, but he took us to Mombasa through that bus, and was able to connect us to a man who was called Kabodo Construction. He had a house at the beach. That's another thing that made an impression.
Have the right kind of friends.
Oh, that you can also have a house on the beach.
Please have the right kind of friends.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you have friends, have the right friends.
But also have the right, yeah, I mean, let the father take take out the child. For what take out your son, take out your daughter.
You know, the first
show
time I
them a
came
few
here
things. Mm.
was, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago, the last Concours d'Elegance before COVID, or the second last. And my son, I have one of my sons who has something to do with vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kept telling me, and I got one of my former colleagues told me, I'm taking my small thing to the Concours d'Elegance. And I was like, oh, why not? I'll come along. Then I had a neighbor again who loves old stuff. So he was coming with his children. And I told him, oh, you're going? I'm coming with my kids too. So we came here and my son was overjoyed. You should have seen the face, the beauty of the smile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way this young boy was looking at a whole machine. And at some point he was even standing on it and taking photos. Then we went to the bike section. I love motorbikes. Oh.
Yes, I've
Coach.
seen on one of your posts
Oh.
having one of those big bikes.
You know, my father, when I was a young girl, he was among the few people who had the Honda.
Wow.
So his Honda would ferry me to school.
Wow.
And I think just that sunk. So I keep saying, I just have to ride a bike. Please forgive me. I keep telling my sons, forgive me, but I have to do this one day.
Okay.
So I have a fetish with beautiful, nice machines. And that day I'm standing there and I'm just looking at this machine and my son is all over and he's looking at it and I'm like, wow, okay. You've never ridden on one, but I can see this coming up.
Yes, we're
And
talking about
he
exposure.
he loves, and at some point I asked him, so what do you want to do in life? Some years after that, and he tells me, I want to have the biggest
Bike.
pimping
Wow. Okay.
pimping shop for
Thinking
machines
garage. Wow, wow. I love
in
that.
this country.
Yeah.
And in East Africa. I looked at him, I was like, boss, your vision is too big. But then I was like, you can go anywhere that you want to go.
Well, let them
So
dream.
exposure.
Yes, it is exposure. Let them dream. Give them an opportunity to loosen their wings to fly, and also let their imagination go wild. You never know. Some of the greatest inventions were actually people trying to do a few things fun here and there, and they come out with great inventions.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, that's me. And Kawangware is home.
So fathers have a place to play in the lives of building a bigger image in the child and
Yes.
setting a standard.
Yes, and this is one place I think we need to really look into. While I say it's important to make money, it is important to explore and what have you. At the end of the day, it is important to have contact with your child.
Yeah.
It's not ideal for you to be far away from your family. One of the reasons why I left Rwanda, I did not tell you that I became a manager of one of the biggest factories in Rwanda.
Oh, after the $200, you got a job.
After the $200, I didn't have a choice. As I was trying to see what else to do, I just spotted a lorry which was collecting garbage, and they had written garbage collection and plastic recycling. Wow. The universe had conspired again, and I saw
Wow.
plastic, recycling, and I make plastic recycling machines back home. Hey, this is it. I call the guy. Hi, how are you, Mr. Habamungu? I was told he's called Mr. Habamungu, so I called Mr. Habamungu. I'm an expert in plastic recycling.
Ooh.
Kulichocha. I had to do torture.
Boss,
And
you're a boss at home, but now you're looking for a job.
No, remember home, I've already, my business is down, and that's why I was looking for an opportunity in Rwanda. And here I am, everything is gone down. But luckily, I've made the first $200, and I've afforded to eat a nice meal. and you know, for
Kulipa
once.
mwili.
Yes, and here I am, I see this, whatever I get inspired, I call. And this is the other thing about business, man.
Yeah.
This is the issue of being inspired and work and seizing the opportunity.
Yes.
That's the other thing. You know, don't look at something, look at it and see. So I looked at it and I saw plastic recycling. And I know from back home we were making plastic crushers. I had taken time to understand about plastic recycling. And that's how we ended up also with our factory in Kenya, near the Muru.
Wow.
But the story is, I saw the recycling plant, and I called the guy, and he said, oh, funny enough, just like Mr. Paul's issue, he needed somebody to advise
Sort
him.
him
Who am
out.
I? And here I am with a technician who was already
Opportunities.
in the recycling industry.
Yes.
Goodness me, God cannot
Ooh.
surprise me like that. I was awed by the goodness of the Lord. And the guy told me, when can you come? I can come there as fast as possible. When do you want me? Come now. Do you know,
Hallelujah.
within an hour, I was seated in an office. And within another 30 minutes, we were driving to the factory. And within another 1 hour, we had made some suggestions of arranging in a flow that this man decided this guy has to be the manager of this factory.
So your interview was a practical process of...
Do I even call it an interview? I did not think about money at that particular time. Sometimes we don't have to think about money when you're talking about business. Don't always think about how much am I going to earn.
not about shilling.
In fact, one of the things that I detest is somebody always talking about how much are you going to pay me. Sometimes when you're looking for a job, when you're looking at an opportunity, you're so driven by the money and you don't think about what am I offering. I always believe that money is a reward for giving a solution. If you give a solution, or you have such a compelling idea, money will come. I have a problem when I'm coaching, especially young men who think about, oh, where do I get the capital? Where do I get the capital? Oh, you're telling me, coach, you're telling me I can start from anywhere. Ask my wife. We started from just a concept, and the concept has attracted money. You see, I'll talk about the difference between entrepreneurship and a business person, and I'll talk about it later. But let me emphasize here that there are a lot of people who keep on thinking, oh, atanilipa pesa ngapi? Why don't you go and show your worth? I showed my worth. I tell you what, that day we'd already settled for my salary. This guy who was wondering what to do, this guy who has now probably $90 from the $200 that I had already made. And now I am a factory manager.
Wow.
Of a big industry called
Hallelujah.
Plastic in Rwanda. Tunainuka.
Tunainama, tunainuka, tukisema.
Wewe ni Mungu.
So uliinuka ukasema yeye ni Mungu.
Yeye ni Mungu. So
oh, beautiful.
We saw the goodness of the Lord at that particular time. And I was a manager. I'm not the kind of person to run system. I turned that factory round because we looked at the system, the flows, and the excesses and the wastages, and we corrected it.
Wow.
And by the way, people of Kenya, don't demean yourself. We have a lot. There's a lot that we have within ourselves that can make changes. Let's not sell ourselves cheap. Anyway, At the end of the day, I had a manager, manage a house.
Ooh, from the
Collect
small
this. Yes, this
back
guy.
office, come
Oh,
workshop, come
yes, yes. This guy who was,
bedroom.
this guy who was on a boda and what have you is now being collected by us, by the van,
The
and you're
same man who
calling the
was walking
street.
from hotel to hotel trying to look for
Oh,
opportunities.
and that's where we made the greatest difference. We got the factory running, then we got tired of the system. By 10 o'clock, everything was running. And I decided to get into the best of what I could. We got into marketing. We started
Wow.
marketing products. Right until now, Rwanda Air is using the garbage collection papers of the deal that I sealed. Rutongo Mines is using the plastic tubing for the whole mine of the deals that I did.
Wow.
We grew the business. We actually grew from, we actually tripled the business that was there.
So what you're telling a business person is that if your business fails, you can also reinvent yourself by looking for someone who has the means, still remain afloat, don't fail, but still grow.
Yes, one of the other things that I've realized over time is this. Sometimes you are limited up to a certain area. You can be limited. And therefore, it is important for you to look, okay, and start putting down everything that you know, okay, fine, how we ask the right questions. Get a proper coach. Right? I so believe in a coach. Get a business coach. Speak with a business coach and say, well, how is your marketing? How is your finances? How is your... And then start, what are the steps that I need to do? This probably I need to get a manager. Because sometimes you are the boss, you are the manager, you are the accountant, you are everything. It collapses in a collapse. But sometimes it's good to differentiate these things and say, fine, I need a good marketing person. If you can't afford them full time, just come and tell them, I need 2 hours. I'm going to pay you 2 hours to help me in marketing.
Wow.
How much do I pay you? Well, what are you delivering to me?
In those 2 hours.
In those, no, not necessarily. You see, the interaction is not 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
The
you
traction will have
yes,
to grow.
that the issue of coming up with the structures of marketing, for example. What do we do? Come up this and answer these questions and then move on. If it's an accountant, we get into a lot of issues, especially believers. You want to move by faith. You forget there are a few things that we need to do. There's KRA that needs to be taken care of. And lo and behold, you've been doing so well and giving testimonies in church of how God has been good to you until when KRA knocks the door and freezes your accounts. A story for another day.
One of the things, just a tip, one of the things I had to do when I registered my company, because I knew I have so many other things that I have to manage and maintain, I looked for an accountant, a very wonderful friend and brother, and I gave him my account. So he's been managing the account and the audits and everything, and ensuring that we had a VAT, so he was ensuring that every month we're not missing out on our returns. Because many times we miss out on that one, and then you have a whole bill called millions or thousands to sort out with the taxman.
There's nothing as bad as when you put your money together and you've been testifying how the Lord has moved, and then KRA comes and closes your account because you were not compliant. And I think some of these things not a matter of prayer. Some of these things is not a matter of fasting and anointing oil. It's a principle. Break the principle, pay the costs.
Yeah.
Obey the principle, reap the benefits.
Yes.
So those are very simple issues in terms of business. And you see, again, bringing us back into the issue of mental health. Some of those things, so that the kickers, so that some of the things that actually set your mental health issue, because being disorganized. So it's important for us to organize ourselves. And if we have a problem in that, get somebody. Again, I keep talking. Let's talk to somebody who has the experience in that particular area.
Yes. I like appreciating people's strengths and also acknowledging my inadequacies, because we're not entirely perfect. We do not have, we may look like we are all put together in life, but the reality is that we are a sum total of grace and working with different people. Look at a whole enterprise, I mean, there is an accountant, there is a front office person, there is that marketing department person, there is the sales department person, there is the person who's in acquisitions and procurements and everything. All these people have to work together for the brand to look beautiful and for it to deliver. But when we decide as entrepreneurs that I'm going to be everything in the company, we lose out.
Yes.
And that is number one, disorganization. Because you don't trust other people enough to entrust them with what you have come up with. You don't trust other people's abilities and expertise enough that they can actually offload some work from you.
Yes.
And therefore, because you're running so many things, a few fall through the cracks.
Yes, the balls will fall. You're trying to juggle so many balls at one time.
And so you lose out on balance. Yeah.
Yes, you remind me, I was talking to Elder Tanki, a friend of mine, a chairman of a business forum, which I help coordinate. And he was talking about, let's do what we know best. And what we do not know as well, let us source. Let us
source.
Yes, let us run business. Let's not let us not get ourselves or imagine we are running business and actually becomes an area where we are embarrassed. You know, believers,
I find Africans.
I'm very afraid that probably 80% of the businesses that are, you know, 80% of the businesses that are started crash within the first 3 months, 6 months. They go down. A lot of resources are put into that. And then you start blaming God. You start not hiding yourself and falling into depression. We need to get into business, start trusting one another, be able to source help where we can, and we can actually go a long way.
So true. I agree. Beautiful. Outsource. Get complementary skills that you do not have in your organization, and let's manage mental health in the right way. At the end of the day, when you spend a little bit more money, you earn more when you have quality services, and you have more clientele when you have better services. These services will not just come through one person, the quality will come through so many people. So remember that you have a role to play in having the right systems and following through the principles of business for you to excel. It's not just about prayer, it is not just about fasting, it is not just about fellowshipping and encouraging yourself and professing and confessing and claiming. It is also doing what is right. I simply call it putting your faith into action.
And again, there's no business health without mental health.
There is no business health without mental health. Can you
Yes.
get that? There is no business health without mental health.
Yes.
So good people, let's not fail in the principles and come claiming that we are depressed. Let's do it right all the way. Yeah. Coach, you know, I'm seated here and you're just encouraging and building me. And I'm a young entrepreneur, brother. You know, I'm a social entrepreneur. I love social systems. And one of the things I do is work with people. I think my element is working with people more. I'm at my best of elements when I am working around people. It's part of me. So it only makes sense for me to be a social entrepreneur. And this entrepreneurship journey is not an easy one. I mean, we are the ones who defy systems that are already set, because we see opportunities within other opportunities, or we see opportunities where there is nothing. You know, the blue and the red economy where
Yes.
there is nothing, and so we come in and we do it. And then we are more like starters in a big way. And many times we get to do a lot of investments in this, but others benefit from our work. Have you found yourself in that space?
Yeah, it happens. I'll give you an instance at one particular time. One of my stories. We were doing very well. Actually, some of you who have bought a product called, you were selling a health product. And we had sales teams in Nairobi, we had sales teams in Mombasa. And we had a competition at the end of the year between our Mombasa office and our Nairobi office. And I remember we brought our 50 salespeople from Nairobi, from Mombasa, to come and compete in Nairobi.
Coach, I always thought that these competitions are only for big organizations.
No, we were not small because we were talking about 50 salespeople in Nairobi, in Mombasa, and about
That's quite
70 salespeople in Nairobi.
It's labor force.
And we would start competitions in Mombasa, and the winners there would come and compete with our people here.
Wow.
It is one of those things that helped our business grew up very fast. One of the things that we talk about, talking about the issues of other people benefiting from your sweat, is this. We were very high on motivation. I remember one particular time we brought in some mink blankets. If there's anyone who brought mink blankets in Kenya for the first time, is me. And I brought a 40-foot container. I remember there were 1,440 blankets. And we were charging our young people. And our office was like a church, worship and all that. We used to call it juice. We used to share some juice, which is join us in creating excitement.
Oh, join us in creating excitement.
Yes, so
I love that environment
juice in the
already.
morning.
Oh.
And as we shared the juice in the morning, guys would come out of there holding 2 blankets. One is 2,500 and another one 2,500. And we would have competitions. That the fastest one to drop that particular comes and tears off an envelope of 1,000 shillings.
Wow.
So the excitement in that place and the juice that was flowing, we used to say, juice is flowing. Juice is to flow.
Yes.
And then we would run so psyched up.
Yeah.
And believe me, within a few minutes, you would not get those envelopes within an hour. Guys have cleared their merchandise and come back and collected that. But I remember one thing, that after the Nairobi competition, we had our party we had our office party at Carnival Mombasa, on the floating restaurant.
After juice.
After juice. So after the competition, we went to Mombasa, and we brought now this whole people, all of them, to Mombasa, and we were selling some. We had just imported something like 6,000 organizers. You remember those organizers that had calculators and what have you? And we went to do the competition now in Mombasa.
Ooh.
We spent, and we had guests. The first winners was television. We had television for the first best salespersons, best sales lady. And you're talking about 20 years ago, spending 400,000 on one party, one night. That was a lot of it.
Man, you're a big shot.
Ngoja kidogo nitakwambia. But what we are saying is this: we spent 400,000, but what did we do? We released people to see vision. We activated them to visualize where they could go, but we did not rise ourselves. We stayed in the same level and created competition. On the opening of January the following year, most of them had gone to start their own businesses. Talk about not benefiting.
Kenyans,
so you've got to have strategy, and you've got to have somebody who's worked in a certain way to understand. We created competition in the name of building capacity in our people.
Yes.
But you see, the whole thing is, if you're here, you need to go up a certain level.
So you did external, you created external competition, but you did not build your capacity for internal competition.
What we did is we created,
so
we built capacity
in creating,
within our salespeople. Then showed them the possibilities. We showed them they could fly. But we did not rise up so that we become their suppliers.
Yes.
So we remained in the same level, and they became our competitors.
Yeah.
They all started
outsourcing and
doing the same business. So that's what I'm saying. Those things do happen.
Yes.
So you have to be strategic and know and understand how to manage your people, and understand that if you're going to build capacity of your people, which is necessary for your growth, then you also need to build a bigger capacity of yourself, so that you are able. Huh?
See, ukoloni, you try to control these ones because you built their capacity.
Uh-huh.
But yours is for growth. Growth has to happen
Yes.
in two
And
ways.
you know the good thing about it, you don't feel like you have to go in. Somebody has to go down for you to rise. Nobody has to go down for you to rise.
Never.
You can raise this one and also raise this one. There's no time this one would ever give you credit.
No.
We thank God. I think we've been able to train over 5,000 salespeople, 5 to 6,000
Congratulations.
salespeople who have businesses
That's
out of
serious
our
coaching.
well, out of our company. Then I wasn't a real coach when I was a businessman or an entrepreneur. Niche entrepreneur, because that needs to be explained also. But one of the things that I know is that we raised people who have their own businesses now, even some who are passing through. One of them became an MP of some place in Butere. We sold what was called P.M.A. Tunakunywa P.M.A, positive mental attitude, and we used to take juice,
P.M.A,
joining us in
positive
creating,
mental attitude. Did you hear that? Positive mental P.M.A.
P.M.A.
Wow.
So, well, so that's it. So you asked about the issue of people not benefiting from your sweat. There's nothing wrong with them benefiting, but it's going to cause you a lot of problem if you do not rise up.
You have to raise your standard.
Raise your standard.
As you raise others, you
yes,
also raise your standard.
Do it twice. So right now what I do is I make sure as I rise,
There are others that are rising.
I mean, as I raise other people.
You're creating an opportunity for someone to come here
Yes, where
as
I
you
was.
go higher.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And that works out very well.
So entrepreneurship is not just about having the code, it's also knowing how to grow the code along the way.
Yes, you have. Entrepreneurship is not easy. You see, entrepreneurship and business, totally different issues. Sometimes being an entrepreneur is you look at a product or a service or an opportunity and then get into that particular opportunity. You can burn your hands. I know for sure ourselves, we've done probably, we've had many opportunities of entrepreneurship and had many concepts, probably 90 or 100 of them. But probably 3 or 4 are the ones that become, you can get a product and hype it up, and probably 3 or 4 are the ones that have built us up and have given us a certain kind of foundation. Others, survive too.
Survival.
But there are some, unagonga poa.
Wow.
Yes, if that is allowed.
Kahuani keru.
Great.
That is what they say in Greek. So coach, as we end the show today, what is your parting shot?
Let's appreciate, and be grateful about what God has placed about us. Let us always have this grateful thing, and that brings that opposition or an opportunities and what have you. The other thing is this: also know that one time or another you're going to fall. Utaanguka na mapua. But rise up, clean yourself, brush up, and move. The other thing is, of course, talk to somebody. There's always somebody you can. They probably might not give you a solution, but you've taken it out. You've taken it out, and you're ready to move on.
Lovely, lovely.
You're lighter.
Awesome. Yes, you feel lighter. Ladies and gentlemen, we are right here at the Mbuzi Match, and our discussion has been awesome. We have flown and now we are landing. And as we land, maybe the biggest thing that you need to carry home is that systems work. So set up systems for your business and you'll have a lesser time worrying about your mental health as long as you're keeping your principles. Besides that, we are actually looking out for a nice place because Coach has decided that we have to get businessmen sitting down and we have a heart-to-heart opportunity of talking. So do not run away from us because we are right here and something big is coming up where the Coach and the MBA will call you out for Mbuzi and we shall have an opportunity to talk about business at a closer level. So with that, I want to say goodbye. Please watch out for our YouTube channel that is at Coach, the Courier the Coach. We also have our Facebook channel, our Facebook page, which is at Courier the Coach, and we are going to be sharing more information about this. Should you want to get in touch with us, hit us in our DM and we shall respond to your question. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and as always, keep your mind positive. I've learnt about P.M.A, positive mental attitude.
And
God
join
bless
us.
you.
Join us in creating excitement. Have some juice.
Have some juice. Join us in
Thank you.
creating excitement.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.